Good morning, trading world. It is March 17th, 2022, 7:30 a.m., and this is my pre-market outlook and technical analysis for day trading the SPY. The title for today's outlook: Slow and steady is real, fast and reckless is fake. This is basically a reference to not just the rally that we had yesterday, but most rallies that we're going to see right now. With the FOMC over and done with, the next 2 days will tell you whether the bounce is real, meaning real buying, or fake, purely short covering. The first part of telling is the eye test. Yesterday was fast and reckless, which is the first sign of short covering and FOMO buyers. Rallies like this can gain steam and turn into something real, but most of the time not. The market was oversold and looking for any reason to cover yesterday, and the Fed gave it the perfect spark. Remember the analogy I often use: the market is a runner in a race, and you have to take into consideration rest, water breaks, which in market terms is consolidation, endurance, in market terms, which is the buildup to larger ranges, and then speed and explosiveness, which in market terms are expansion or trend strength or steepness. The other thing that we need to keep our eyes on is the VIX right now. I can't remember which pre-market it was, but I gave a explanation about watching the VIX on these rallies. If the VIX goes down into the lower 20s, we could visit and hang around the top part of the range for a while. Also beware of bonds and rates moving together. This can't continue for too long, and will perhaps give the heads up of the continued rally or tip you off on the reversal. And let me bring my other chart into play. And this is what I'm talking about. Let me bring something up. All right. Right now, this is what we have. Bonds in an uptrend and the rates in an uptrend. And if you look coming into this session, they're both in, I guess you could call it a cooling off period, but they're both pulling back right now. This can't continue for too long. So they're going to have to pick up their inverse relationship soon, and this will kind of tell us, or kind of give us a heads up of whether we continue rallying or whether we reverse and turn over and start heading back down. And usually a pickup in bonds means an exit from actual commodities or an exit from the market or a flight to safety. So this is something that you want to pay attention to. All right, from there I thought we'd go ahead and get into the key levels of the day. Starting on the resistance side, we have the jack resistance at the 434 to 435 area, which will probably be really key for today. And on the queen resistance, we have 436 to the 437 area. And the king resistance, we have the 439 to 443 area. On the support side, we have the jack support at 432 to 431. And the queen support, we have the 430 to 429 area. And the king's support, we have 427 to 424 area. I keep seeing the same question a lot about the king, queen, the jack, queen, king. It's no big deal. It's just something that I use to kind of rank support and resistance areas. It's the same as when you look in a book and they have S1, S2, S3. Used to play cards a lot, so this was an easier way for me to rank support and resistance. That's all it is. You probably won't be able to find or research anything on YKey or Investopedia, I think, is one of the places someone brought up they were trying to research. So again, it's no big deal. It's just something that I personally use to rank support and resistance levels. All right. Going into the day, the main thesis for today, it is bearish, closing below 435.62. Excuse me, 435.62 with a projected low or target of 430 to 429. The alternate thesis is bullish, closing above 435.62 with a projected high or target of 436 to 437. The current channel we are in goes all the way down to 425 and goes all the way up to 453. We are also in or right on the edge of a minor channel, and that minor channel is 431 all the way up to 443. Let me bring up these scenarios for the day. All right, here we go with the first scenario of the day. We could likely see a range day structure. We could likely set a decision area or a high boundary around the jack resistance. Give me just a moment. Okay, here we go. Now we have the right description. All right, we could look to set a decision area low boundary around the jack or queen support before chopping higher, and then at some point coming back and testing that lower boundary. This has a 48% probability of happening today as far as us being a range day structure. That is the first scenario. All right, the second scenario is our rounded reversal day type structure. We could get a continued push lower toward the jack or queen support area and find our midday chop around either that queen or king support area before spending that same amount of energy that we used to come down in the morning, we could see a similar version of that going back up during the second half of the day. Even with this version of the rounded reversal day type, it could be highly likely that we stop short of or around the previous close. So remember, the main thesis for today is bearish, closing below 435.62, which is represented by the blue line. We also do have a vice versa scenario, which would look pretty much like this, which could be in play as well. Basically the same probability, 30%. That is the second scenario, and let's take a look at the last scenario. All right, and here we go with the last scenario, which could be our trend day down structure, which means we open gap down at the cash open and begin a slight rally back toward the previous close, but somewhere on or before that previous close we find resistance and reverse, getting into our main trend of the morning, which would be down. We find our midday chop zone around either our queen or king support area, and then starting off the second half of the day with a head fake down before having a small or slight rally going into the close. Those are the scenarios for today. As always, understand and know your risks. Your capital is the main thing that you have as a trader that you have to protect. So do that by understanding what you have at risk. As always, hoping this helps, wishing you a positive trading day. Have a great one.